President Cyril Ramaphosa recently gave a speech about Africa's biggest challenges at the 2025 Liberation Movement Summit in Johannesburg. He talked about the need to build factories, the damage from corruption, and the government's disconnect from the young people. But for many South Africans, this speech was strange to hear. The president was complaining about problems that the ANC has either caused or failed to fix over the past 30 years. Welcome to the Rhetoric Show, where I look at those stories that affects every South African in some other way. Do check the description box for a link to the article I am basing this video on. Ramaphosa said that Africa must stop exporting raw materials like rock and sand and instead should make its own finished products. He said, "We must process, build and produce all that we need here." This sounds like a good idea, but it sounds empty in South Africa. The ANC government has failed to run the very companies needed to do this. For example, Transnet. It's a disaster. Transnet is buried in over 130 billion rand of debt and needed a 94.8 billion rand bailout from the government just to keep going. Because Transnet is broken. It can't move goods properly. It cost the country's economy a massive 353 billion rand in lost business in 2023. It is hard to take Ramaphosa's call to build a new Africa seriously when his government has broken its own country's key infrastructure. Ramaphosa said, and I quote, "For many of us, corruption and patronage have contributed to various degrees to the destruction of our social fabric, to the weakening of the state, and to the disunity of our movements." While this is true, he fails to mention that the ANC is the party that oversaw this destruction. The massive corruption during the state capture years happened under the ANC's watch. When he talks about corruption as a general problem, he avoids the fact that his party is directly responsible for allowing it to flourish in South Africa. Ramaphosa said, "We should welcome the impatience of the young people because it shows they want a better life." But this is not a fair description of their feelings. Young people are not just impatient, they are angry and hopeless. The official unemployment rate is 33%, and for young people, it is a shocking 61%. They can't find jobs. This isn't a simple shortcoming. It is a massive failure of the ANC's economic policies, which have scared off investors and failed to create growth for decades. In his speech, Ramaphosa also blamed outsiders for the country's problems. He said that international actors use the legitimate grievances of our people to attack progressive governments. This is a classic way to shift blame. He admits that the people's complaints are legitimate, but then suggests that the real problem is foreign enemies. The truth is, the biggest threat to South Africa is not some secret foreign power. It is the widespread poverty and unemployment that the ANC has failed to solve. These failures create the anger that he is now blaming on others. In the end, the president's speech was good at listing South Africa's problems, but he never once took the responsibility for the fact that his party created them. He complained about a messy house while holding the very tools that wrecked it. For a generation of South Africans who need jobs, not speeches, his words mean very little. You can't eat history, and promises don't create jobs. Ramaphosa clings onto BEE and racist government policies and somehow cannot understand why investors who want to create new businesses, manufacturing plants, and their accompanying jobs in South Africa do not want to invest because the BEE and racist government policies create a bureaucratic and compliance nightmare for any new investor. So they skip South Africa and move on to the next opportunity. The ANC is chasing investors away, and it is easy to say that locals should create these factories and manufacturing plants, but where do they find the money? Who is going to help them and fund these projects? Using more taxpayer money is out of the question, and so much has already disappeared into the corruption basket. The government does not create jobs. It is the government's responsibility to create an environment for economic growth. And BEE and racist policies destroy investors' will or motivation to invest in South Africa. BEE and its associated racist policies need to go. What do you think of this? Leave your comments in the comments section. But please note, I do not delete any comments, but YouTube does remove comments automatically that do not comply with their policies. If you found any value in this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.